Going from one stick of single channel memory to dual channel with two sticks is a simple way to boost gaming performance. But how much of a boost can we expect with the new Ryzen 7 3750H laptop CPUs? In this video, we'll test out 15 different games at all setting levels to help you see if dual channel memory is worth it in an AMD laptop. Generally, when people talk about memory, they focus on total size, such as 8GB versus 16GB, or even speeds and timings. While these are important, they aren't what we're talking about here. The simplest way to understand the difference between single channel and dual channel memory is basically that single channel will use one stick of memory, while dual channel needs two sticks. All modern laptops should have support for dual channel memory, and most have two SODIMM slots on the motherboard for two sticks. There are some strange ones like the ASUS GX701 that has 8GB or 16GB soldered to the motherboard. However, we can still run this in dual channel by installing our single stick. A common misconception that's also worth noting is that single or dual channel memory has nothing to do with the memory sticks themselves. So you don't buy single or dual channel memory, it just depends on how many channels the platform supports. In a dual channel configuration, the memory bandwidth is doubled with a second stick, which is what we're testing here. I've previously compared single channel to dual channel memory with an Intel-based laptop, and in that video we saw significant improvements to performance in and out of gaming. Ever since then, I've been asked to do the same testing with an AMD laptop. Now that I've finished reviewing the ASUS TUF FX505DU gaming laptop, I've got one available with their latest AMD Ryzen 7 3750H processor to test with. The FX505DU has NVIDIA 1660 Ti graphics and was tested with the same drivers. We'll also be testing with memory running at DDR4 2400, as this is the highest speed these Zen Plus CPUs support at this time on the laptop side. So a slight step down from the DDR4 2666 speeds supported on a modern Intel platform. In this testing, I'm testing single channel with one 16GB stick and dual channel with two 8GB sticks. So in both cases, we've got 16GB of total memory running at DDR4 2400. There was a small difference in the timings. The stick used for single channel was slightly faster, but this small difference will be no match for the dual channel configuration, as we'll see now. Let's start off with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was tested with the built-in benchmark. I've got the single channel results shown by the red bars, dual channel results shown by the purple bars, and the setting levels the game offers on the left, ranging from low to maximum at the top. Full disclosure up front, this game saw the largest improvement out of all 15 tested with the dual channel memory upgrade. I'm showing it first to show what's possible as a best case. Even the 1% lows from the dual channel config are above the averages from running single channel, and at max settings, dual channel was averaging 40% higher FPS. Battlefield 5 was tested in campaign mode, as it allows me to perform the exact same test run each time, perfect for comparisons like this. Something to note is that in general, we will see a larger performance difference between single and dual channel memory at lower settings. This is because at higher settings, we're more GPU bound, and it seems to make less of a difference. In this case at Ultra, dual channel gave us 17% higher FPS, while at low there was a 33% improvement to average FPS. Apex Legends was tested with either all settings at minimum or maximum, as there's no built-in setting presets. At max settings, there was a 12% improvement to average frame rate, just below average in the 15 games I've tested, but still there's extra performance to be had from such a simple upgrade. Far Cry New Dawn was tested with the built-in benchmark, and as a game that seems to be quite CPU heavy, we're seeing a large 37% improvement to average FPS at ultra settings in this test. In most cases, even the 1% lows from the dual channel config are ahead of the averages that single channel is able to give us, so a very nice improvement here. CSGO was tested with the Electrical FPS benchmark, and there was basically no change to the 1% low results in this test. The average frame rate was getting a fair boost though, with a 13% improvement with all settings maxed out and a larger 23% improvement with all settings at minimum. Rainbow Six Siege was tested with the built-in benchmark, and there was less of an improvement in this test at higher settings, with a small 2.6% uplift to average FPS at Ultra. This rises to a 16% improvement with low settings though, with larger boosts to the 1% low, which you could argue are important for a first-person shooter like this. Overwatch was tested in the practice range, as it allows me to very easily perform the exact same test run, ideal for comparison purposes like this. Again, at max settings, there was only a small change between the two, less than 2% higher average FPS with dual channel, This rises as we step down in settings though, where we now see a 30% higher average FPS at low settings. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was tested with the built-in benchmark, and we've got the familiar pattern of smaller results at higher settings and bigger differences at the lower settings. Despite this, at Ultra there was still almost a 12% improvement to average FPS, with a larger 32% increase at lowest settings. Watch Dogs 2 was a pretty CPU-heavy game, so it's not surprising that we're seeing fairly big improvements here with dual channel. At Ultra settings, there was a 21% boost to average FPS, which rises to 29% with low settings. Though when it comes down to it, even Ultra settings with single channel was still pretty playable. The Witcher 3 was tested with hairworks disabled, and we saw a smaller difference in this one. At Ultra settings, there was just a 6% improvement to average FPS, while at low settings, there was a bigger 20% rise. Strange Brigade was tested with Vulkan using the built-in benchmark, and out of all 15 games tested, this one saw the smallest change at Ultra settings, with just a 1.4% higher average frame rate. There was a bigger difference at low though, putting it about middle of the pack now, with a 22% increase to average FPS. PUBG was tested using the replay feature, and the results from this game are a bit different to what we've seen before. At Ultra settings, there was a larger improvement with dual channel compared to lower settings, as Ultra saw a 24% boost to average FPS, while very low settings received a lower 17% improvement. Ghost Recon was tested with the built-in benchmark, and while there was only a tiny 2.6% increase to average FPS at Ultra, there was a much larger 21% rise and 1% low. Like most other games, we're getting a bigger difference at lower settings. And even though this game is coming in at last place in terms of improvement at lowest settings, there's still a 12% higher average frame rate with dual channel. Dota 2 was tested playing in the middle lane with an average amount of action going on. At Ultra settings, there was a 16% boost to average FPS, while low settings saw the second smallest change out of all games tested, lowering to just 13% ahead of the single channel configuration. Fortnite was tested with the replay feature, and while only getting a 9% increase to average FPS at epic settings, there was a much larger 43% improvement to the 1% low, so it's going to deliver a much smoother experience. At lower settings, like most other games, there's a much larger 28% higher average FPS with dual channel. These are the percentage improvements we saw in all 15 games tested with dual channel at maximum settings, so an average 14% higher average FPS. As you can see, it really depends on the game, and while a few only saw a small single-digit percentage increase, the majority had much better results. CPU-intensive games like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed saw large benefits around the 40% mark. I've also got the same graph but with all games at minimum settings. And now we can see that the average has risen to 26% faster with dual channel. This is because at lower settings we're more CPU bound, which seems to matter more when going from single to dual channel memory. So it goes to show it depends on the settings you're playing with as well as to how much of an improvement you should expect. Just for a non-gaming test, I've also tested exporting a 10-minute 1080p video with Adobe Premiere. And in this workload, I was seeing the dual channel configuration being 14% faster than single channel. It will of course depend on the specific workload, but in general, we can clearly see there is a nice performance uplift to gain from running dual channel memory. While I've known since my previous testing how much of a difference dual channel memory makes, it's been good to confirm similar results with AMD's platform. Should you upgrade to dual channel memory in your laptop? If you've got a spare memory slot free and want to boost performance, then it can definitely help out in some workloads, especially games. If you're looking to upgrade, ideally try and buy the same model stick, but in most cases, as long as you match size, timings, and speed, you'll probably be fine. You can use software like Hardware Info to check the model currently installed, or just open it up and visually inspect free slots. You can probably search your laptop model online and see what memory other people have used. Some laptops, like the Gigabyte Aero for instance, can be pretty picky in what they accept. If you're buying new and have the option, generally I'd recommend going for dual channel straight away and having the better experience. Not only are average frame rates in games improved, but 1% lows see nice improvement too, which means less stuttering and dips, leading to much smoother gameplay. Even out of games, when I went from single to dual channel in my Aero 15X, I noticed just interacting with Windows was snappier. Previous micro freezes that were there before disappeared. If your laptop has the memory soldered to the motherboard, like the Dell XPS 13 I recently tested, unfortunately you're out of luck in terms of user upgrade options. However, many of these will still run in dual channel, which is good to see. The differences in game performance shown here is why I get a little annoyed when modern gaming laptops sell with single channel memory. Yes, you could of course upgrade yourself. I suppose it depends. If you get a laptop with 16GB of memory and it comes with one stick, they've given you an upgrade path to 32GB and dual channel if you want. However, if you never upgrade or don't know any better, you're losing performance compared to having that same 16GB as two 8GB sticks. On the other hand, if they did provide two 8GB sticks out of the box, gaming performance would be quite a bit better, and it doesn't cost that much more considering the gains to be had. So it seems strange to me that there are gaming laptops that aren't sold with dual channel. I'm sure a small number of people would be annoyed if they wanted to upgrade to 32GB, as they'd then need two 16GB sticks, making the two 8GB sticks useless. But overall, this still seems better to me, or otherwise give us the option when buying. It's strange that many companies appear to prefer saving a few dollars doing single channel when they could provide significantly better performance which would reflect in their benchmarks. Let me know down in the comments if you're running single or dual channel. And if single, will you be looking at upgrading after seeing the improvements that are available? If you're on single channel, I honestly think going to dual channel is the single biggest upgrade you can easily do to boost performance. It's definitely worth investigating. Anyway, let me know, and if you're new to the channel, consider getting subscribed for future comparisons and tech videos like this one.